What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So yesterday, talked a bit about the Overwatch release date that seemed to be rumored / leaked. I talked about that on the second channel, Spawnwave Plus, so if you've not already checked that out, I would go take a look so you can see when, I guess, Overwatch is rumored. It seems kinda correct right now based on some of the information that's come out, but it's very interesting to see, so you want to check that out, and you might as well subscribe there too if you want to hear from me more going forward on different topics in entertainment and games. I have a lot of fun over there on the channel. Today, though, we have a bunch of stuff to go over because it looks like a new Yakuza game is coming out, and it's a bit different, and I'm kind of interested in it. Resident Evil appears to be leaked out, but Capcom's kind of already talked about it a bit, at least teased it, and Tokyo Game Show coming up. Capcom is going to be showing up there with quite a bit of stuff to talk about, which includes Mega Man and even remasters for the Switch. So just a ton of stuff to go over today, guys. As always, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit the like button. It does help out, and get subscribed to stay up to date on all the gaming news that goes on every weekday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. We're here talking gaming, and we're going to start today actually with Astral Shane. Astral Shane's out today. I'm going to be playing through it as much as I can and hopefully posting impressions over the weekend, and I'm sure we'll talk about it on the podcast as well, but I'm excited to dive into that game. After seeing so many impressions and reviews on it, it seems like a solid outing by Platinum Games, something a bit different than they're used to doing, so I'm really looking forward to checking it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Let me know if you're picking it up down below. Also, I can't believe this, but apparently a Jumanji game. Yeah, that's right, Jumanji game. It seems to be based on the movie, based on the character models that they are using and everything, and I guess the setting. Yeah, it's $40. They put a trailer out, and this is really funny because I don't know who was asking for this exactly, but hey, I guess they figure there's a movie. The movie did fairly well, so why not? It's going to be out on the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, the Switch, and the PC. They describe it as a third-person PvE action shooter, although they showed several different aspects of gameplay. November 15th this year is when it's coming out, and it's being done by FunSolve. Again, not 100% sure on who was looking for this game exactly, but I guess if you really liked the movie, there's now a game to go alongside of it. I mean, the movie did well. It was successful at the box office, as in brought a bunch of money. So again, I guess they figured, hey, there's fans out there, we'll make a game for them. I would check the trailer out though first and maybe wait for reviews, because I'll be honest, just looking at the trailer, it looks like a bit of a cash grab, but I guess we'll see mid-November, when eyes are definitely on Jumanji and not things like Pokemon or Death Stranding. Also, if you are a bargain hunter for video games, specifically on PC, where it seems like you can find games super cheap at times, you may want to double check the Humble Bundle store that they're doing right now. They're doing like a build your own bundle, and I kind of saw this and was surprised at how much, I guess you could save on this if you're looking to get multiple games. Build your own bundle means you pretty much just throw a bunch of games together, and more games you put in the cart, the cheaper it gets, and they have actually quite a bit. It seems to be from Bandai Namco, so if you're looking for any game specifically from them, I mean, there's obviously all the different Dragon Ball games. Dragon Ball FighterZ is even there. You can do things like Ni no Kuni 2, the different Tales games like Tales of Berseria is there, and the more you put in the cart, the cheaper it gets. I saw that you go up to like 85%, but I threw like 3 different games in there, and it knocked off quite a bit of money. It was like $12 or something for 3 different games, and they're higher quality games. So if you're looking, I guess, to build out like your Steam library, just double check, because it'll tell you if it's a Steam key that you get. It is seemingly, from what I've seen, just PC only. So again, you're building out your PC collection, but it's for pretty cheap. Again, surprisingly cheap. Oh, and the Switch Lite, of course, coming out in not too much longer, 3 weeks now? It's coming out, and yes, you're going to see a lot of accessories start to drop for this system, and it looks like we're seeing a couple, including this one, for example, here. This one I think is only going to be in Japan, but it's a good example. It's like $12 over there in Japan, and it's the Columbus Circle, and on the back it has a kickstand, and I think that's what you're going to see a lot of. Of course, it has grips on the sides as well to help you hold the Switch Lite, but I think the biggest thing you're going to see here with like all of these different cases, I'd be shocked if it didn't have one, by the way, are different kickstands. I think you're gonna have tons of different kickstand models, makes. You'll see some probably take up the whole back, similar to like Microsoft Surface tablet, things like that. You might have smaller ones, but a lot of people talk about, of course, the Switch Lite not having a kickstand, but every single accessory I see coming out that's like a higher quality casing has a kickstand. So while this one isn't currently going to be available anywhere but Japan, keep in mind you're going to see a lot of these ones come out. But this one looked pretty good. It looks kind of rugged. But yeah, kickstands, I'm starting to notice, is going to be like the new thing for these Switch Lite cases. And guys, some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's talk about Tokyo Game Show and Capcom. Capcom's going to be there as usual, and the Tokyo Game Show tends to have, I think, some fairly large announcements. Again, it's not like E3, for example, right? It's nothing like that, but you can still get some pretty good stuff. A lot of it is geared towards, obviously, the Japanese market. A lot of like Japanese RPGs, for example, Yakuza, different games like that. And you'll see a lot of the companies show up there, like Capcom, like Bandai Namco, like Sega. But here's the thing about Capcom. They seem to really like the Switch for remasters. Remasters are very popular for them to do on the Switch, and they tend to get quite a bit of money for doing them. I mean, let's be real, Devil May Cry was more expensive than it should have been, right? I think most people look at that and can at least agree on it. Whether or not you want to buy it, that's fine. Resident Evil 4 was another one that I think was too expensive, definitely, when it was digital only. Again, most people can agree on that, but they must have been doing well for them, because here they are now showing up, the Tokyo Game Show, September 15th, to talk about remasters. Yeah, it seems to be under the same title that was given for the Devil May Cry release, which is an adult games initiative, I guess. Anyway, it's called the Capcom Adult Masterpiece Series Special Stage, and that's going to be on September 15th. It's a panel where they will be talking about, apparently, remasters for the Switch. And you can pretty much start guessing, because they do have a long list. You can look up their list of different IPs and games. Now, a lot of people are going to say, let's do it, Beautiful Joe. I would like to see Beautiful Joe get a remaster. That would be awesome. But it's Capcom, so I don't expect a ton, okay? I kind of expect a bit of bare minimum effort. I kind of expect Devil May Cry 3. I think that one's easy. Like, that's probably one of the easiest guesses to make there. If I wanted to get crazy with it, I think it would be fun to see Maximo. Just throwing it out there. Why not do Maximo? If you want to see another safe one, maybe they'll do something with Lost Planet. I mean, I know that was on like the 360, but you could technically move it up to the Switch, call it like the special edition or something, and just re-release it on the Switch. That's also possible. I know what you're thinking as well right away, because we just on Newswave like a week or two ago talked about Power Stone and how the original director keeps getting questions and how they'd love to put it on the Switch. So that does kind of line up. They said it, weeks before Tokyo Game Show, where they're going to hold a panel about remasters. I think Power Stone would be great. Throw at least 1 and 2 from the Dreamcast on there. I guess the PSP, I guess you could go into that route, but I think most people will be happy with just the first and second one thrown on there. Split them up, by the way, Capcom. You don't have to do them as like one SKU. You can split them up and let people decide. That, I think, would be one of the exciting moments. And again, if you look down their list, they have like Breath of Fire, I believe Bionic Commando, and a few others. But those are some of the ones I would like to see. Beautiful Joe would get me overly excited, I would say. But then I would look at Devil May Cry 3 if that's what it ends up being, and I would just say, yeah, okay, sure, Capcom, we'll do that. Next up, let's talk about Yakuza 7, as it has been announced. This is a very interesting situation here, and we're going to talk a little bit about why, because they're changing the overall core gameplay of this game, specifically how you're fighting enemies and everything. But when they announced what it would be, which is apparently a turn-based RPG, it caught everyone off guard. And I have to at least give them some credit, because they're trying something new here. It's not going to be the same old Yakuza game as they've talked about before. It is going to be like its own thing. I mean, that is such a departure from what it generally is, which it already kind of, I guess it kind of was an RPG. Not turn-based though, it's obviously action-based and everything. And most of the game came down to doing things other than the main story. You would do all kinds of crazy stuff, side missions that ended up being fairly long, to the point where you're not sure if you're doing the main game or not, because the storyline is so fleshed out, but it's a side mission. But there's just a ton of stuff to do in the game, and here we are now with Yakuza 7. They put out a full trailer, and I have to say, it looks interesting. The gameplay looks pretty good too, and they even had the Western release title as Yakuza Like a Dragon, is what they're going to call it. But it's going to launch January 16th, 2020 in Japan for, according to them, 8,390 yen, which is like $80. And then in 2020, I guess later on, it'll be released in the Americas and Europe. So this has been worked on for a little while now, and it seems to be ready to go. But I was surprised, like I said, because they had quite a bit to show off, and this RPG element where it's gonna be turn-based. I like that idea. Can we mix Yakuza and Persona together? Because it's kind of what it sounds like here. And yes, I know people like what Yakuza was before, but why not give this one a chance? This could be really neat. And I think like longtime hardcore Yakuza fans will obviously give it a try, but I think you'll get some new people in as well. People who like RPGs might take a shot, and that's probably why they're making this change, just to see how it goes. They can always switch back and try something different, but you gotta give them credit. Breaking tradition like that and trying something completely different with a numbered entry, it's not a spinoff, numbered entry, is amazing. So yeah, let's see what this is all about. Don't have to wait too much longer either. January, it'll at least be out in Japan, and we'll see reviews and impressions from that audience. Then I guess it'll eventually make its way west in 2020, probably later on, similar to how Judgment was. Next up, let's talk about Resident Evil, because we've been hearing more and more information about a Resident Evil that seems to be happening. There seems to be multiple projects in the background, by the way, and seems to be one of them, called Project Resistance is what it's codenamed right now. They put up a full website, and not much information is there at all. It's kind of a static background. You have the logo and everything, but if you scroll down, September 9th is when they're going to do the full reveal, which means they have a trailer, which means, of course, people went and looked for it, and they found screenshots. Yes, if you go on like YouTube and stuff, you can pull thumbnails and everything, and there were 4 images. I'll show you a few of them here as we're going over what's happening, and it does look like this could be something similar to something like Resident Evil Outbreak, which was an online cooperative multiplayer game. That's kind of what we're getting from this, because we see 4 different characters. Now, of course, only one of them could be playable, but they all look like they would be possibly playable from what we're seeing, and that's making a lot of people believe that it could be a 4-player co-op experience that could be online. Now, we've had some online games with Resident Evil, obviously, like Revelations 2, for example. On your Switch right now, you can play with a friend online, and now seeing one that could be built entirely around co-op and online is actually pretty interesting to hear about, because, believe it or not, Outbreak was still fairly popular as recent, I believe, as like last year or the year before, where private servers were still up. I mean, the Capcom didn't shut the actual official servers down till 2011 in Japan, because people were still playing it on the PS2. The PlayStation 2 came out in 2004, towards the end of its lifespan, because of course 2005 we had the 360 and then we moved into the HD era, but people really liked that game, and you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing a successor. Now, we don't really know if that's what this is. It could be similar to it, but different enough. It could be something like Left 4 Dead mixed with like some Resident Evil storylines and stuff. It could be a bit more arcadey than what we're used to, but we'll have to see. Fortunately, September 9th is right around the corner. Seriously, I mean, after this weekend, the next news wave will be into September already. So things are moving quick, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Capcom has with Project Resistance for Resident Evil. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about Mega Man. Now, of course, we saw the Mega Man Zero Collection / ZX Collection. That slash in there always messes up the title. What do we call it? Just Mega Man Zero ZX Collection? Or do we say the slash? Anyway, we saw a large schedule for Capcom talking about Tokyo Game Show, and Mega Man always comes up, but I don't ever have a lot of confidence in it. And I'm looking at this, and I'm kind of like that same timid look to it, but I'm hopeful. Why am I hopeful? Well, I'll talk to you a little bit about this. First of all, you're seeing a bit of the schedule here. This is actually at the top, where you can see them talk about Mega Man on September 12th, where they're talking about Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy Collection. They'll go over it. It's a full series special stage event. And they're going to say, in addition to live gameplay, they're going to do the new elements will also be introduced. And then there will also be the latest information on the Mega Man series with the producer, the Mega Man Unity manager, and then another producer. So I'm looking at this, and I'm hoping they mention something about the next Mega Man X or Mega Man 12. Remember, with Mega Man 11, we had a collection and Mega Man 11 announced. We had the X collection. I'm hopeful that the Mega Man Zero ZX collection is going to be accompanied by Mega Man X9. I know, but I'm hopeful. I'm hoping that is what's going to happen here. They announced at Tokyo Game Show. That'd be amazing. Otherwise, maybe later this year, I don't know. It's hard to say when they would do it if it's not here. I mean, I guess they could hold their own event, but again, fingers crossed they have something other than just the Zero ZX Legacy Collection. Don't get me wrong, that is an awesome collection. But it could be so much better if they also announce a brand new title in the entire Mega Man universe with Mega Man X9. We'll have to see though, that's September 12th, and I'll keep you guys posted here. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day as you're seeing here. This one's from Darren Holmes saying Nitrome's games had some of the most fluid animations for Flash games back in the day, along with some really slick mechanics. More than happy to have them team up with Yacht Club. So I wasn't as familiar with them. You guys seemed extremely familiar with Flash games and mobile games and Bomb Chicken. I wasn't as familiar with like Flash games or anything to that nature, but looking into them, it does seem like they're very talented, and I have a feeling Yacht Games brought them in to help out and get it done faster. King of Cards has been delayed a couple times, and it's always been weird to me, but bringing in another studio that is as talented as Nitrome's, that's a good thing. So I think that'll help with the quality, obviously, with some of the stuff they've done, and it should fall right into what they've been able to do in the past. So it sounds like Nitrome's is only going to help them get this thing done faster, and that's pretty exciting because, again, I like SteamWorld Dig, so to see like a play on that with Shovel Knight is really cool, especially with talented developers, and I think they have something here, but we'll have to see when that one comes out. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about, whether it's Capcom doing remasters, apparently, more remasters on the Switch at Tokyo Game Show, where they're gonna hold a little panel and talk about some new ones. I assume Devil May Cry 3 is in there, but outside of that one, what would you like to see announced? Because I'm very curious what you guys would want to go out and buy for, let's be honest, more money than it should be from Capcom. Also, what about Mega Man having an appearance there, Yakuza 7, or what is Resident Evil? What's this Project Resistance? Thanks guys for watching. I'll see you back here Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time for Newswave.